What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2006 remake of When a Stranger Calls. So this movie pretty much follows the same premise as the original, or at least the beginning of the original movie, and it kind of expands upon it for the first 20 minutes of that movie and extends it to a full-length movie. And so it's pretty much the babysitter Jill. In this movie, it's clarified that she's wanting to babysit so she can get money to pay for the cell phone bill because she overused on her cell phone minutes, I think is what it was, which really shows how dated this movie is already. You can tell it came out in the early 2000s because of that, and just it has that early 2000s feel. And at first, she's enjoying the night and everything, doing her homework and talking to friends on the phone, and one of her friends even stops by and visits for a few minutes, and then things just kind of start going crazy. She keeps getting these weird phone calls from someone she thinks is a prank caller, and as the night goes on she starts getting more and more scared, and she calls the police, and they have her talk to the guy long enough so they could trace the call, and we find out that the caller is in the house, and instead of it being where the guy kills the kids and stuff like he did in the original version, the kids are still alive and she's having to protect the kids and try to escape the house and get away from this guy. And unlike in the original, the house is in the middle of nowhere, which it might have been in the middle of nowhere in the original, I just don't remember it, but I like that this movie does a lot different than the original and everything. It pretty much takes that awesome 20-minute opening sequence and drags it out for a full movie, and I think it works for the most part, although it does get to where it drags a little bit in the middle. It is while the original was a slow burner, it was still entertaining throughout the whole thing. This one, it's a slow burner, and it does really start to drag a little bit in the middle. Like during the second act of the movie, it just kind of slows down, and it's kind of the repeating of the phone calls and her being scared and going into different rooms and stuff, and you think that someone's gonna jump out and they don't, and everything. It kind of gets repetitive, but once the third act gets in, it's pretty fun. It got a lot of Halloween vibes in it too. I noticed that it kind of reminded me of Halloween, like the way she's trying to protect the kids and get away from this killer, although she is not near as good of a babysitter as Laurie is. Like, one thing that I will say on both of these movies is it doesn't make sense why she didn't go check on the kids at least once after the person called and asked if they've checked the kids and stuff. I don't get why they wouldn't have wanted to go at least make sure the kids were okay and everything. I never really understood that. But this is as far as remakes go, I think this one's pretty decent though. I don't mind it very much. I think Camilla Bell is really good as Jill. She does a really good job playing the character, and she has a likable screen presence in this movie. I haven't seen her in a lot of other stuff, but I do think she's good in here. And the rest of the cast are pretty good. You don't really get a lot of other characters in here though that really show up. You see a few at the beginning of the movie. She has a couple of friends that she talks to on the phone. You see them a couple times when they're talking on the phone, but their phones aren't working because they're at this party that has no reception and stuff, for plot convenience of course, and everything. And one of her friends is actually played by Tessa Thompson, who of course now is most known for playing Valkyrie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I know she's been on some shows, I think Westworld, and I think she's in the Creed movies, so it was really cool seeing her before she became big. I had totally forgot she was in this movie. And another MCU star, Clark Gregg, who played Agent Coulson from the MCU movies, is in here too. I thought that was kind of cool and everything. He's only in here for a few minutes at the beginning. He plays Jill's father, but it was cool seeing him in here. But most of the other cast I don't really remember or recognize from other stuff, really, to be honest. I'm sure I've probably seen them and stuff, I just don't really know who they are. They're all fine in here. They don't want anything spectacular. The killer in here is played by Tom Flanagan, or not killer, but the stranger. He's not really a killer because I think he maybe killed one or two people at the most, and you don't really see him kill anybody. So, but he's pretty good. And Lance Henriksen does his voice when, like, on the phone and stuff. But when you see the stranger chasing him through the movie, he's played by Tommy Flanagan, and he's pretty good. He's creepy, and I think he was a pretty good choice for it and everything. But the one character in here, though, that I don't like is Jill's friend Tiffany, played by Katie Cassidy. She just shows up in here, and she kind of made out with Jill's boyfriend. Now, I don't think they actually showed it on screen, but like they have a conversation about it. And she just isn't a very likable character. She kind of gets on my nerves, and it's implied that she's killed. I don't think that it actually said that she was, but I think that she does get killed by a stranger. And it's a crazy movie, but it's an alright remake. There are way worse remakes out there, like The Fog is way worse than this movie, and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, to me, both of those are way worse than this. This one, I think, is one of the ones that's kind of mid-tier. It's not terrible, but not super great either. But I do like that they just took that first 20 minutes of the first one and used it to make a full movie, though. I thought that was kind of cool because it does do something a little bit different in it, everything. But like I said, dragging it out to an hour and 27 minutes, taking the first 27 minutes of a movie and dragging it out an extra hour, just, it kind of doesn't work, because it does get really slow at times. But yeah, I think that this is a fun movie, not a super great one, but it's watchable. I could handle watching it every once in a while. It's definitely not as good as the original, but it's a worthy remake. And I've heard that there's rumors going around that they're going to make a sequel to this. I think they said last year that they're wanting to do a sequel, where it is like a remake of the second half of the movie, except it's going to just be the stranger going after Jill again after he escapes from the mental institution that he's in and stuff, which I think would be really cool. I actually kind of hope that it happens, just because I'm kind of curious to see what Jill would be like and nowadays and stuff. I know it's probably going to have a lot of the Halloween 2018 vibes and stuff, but if done right, it could be a fun sequel. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I kind of hope it does. But yeah, so I'd say I'd give the When a Stranger Calls remake a 7.5 out of 10. It's really good for the most part, except it does have some pacing issues, and the one character is really unlikable. But aside from that, I think it's enjoyable. The cinematography and score are all pretty good. Not as good as the original, but it works for a remake. And as far as the 2000 remakes of 80s and 70s horror movies, this one is a pretty decent one. I don't think it's near as bad as people say it is. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of When a Stranger Calls, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.